Welcome here to a very special edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora's Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Binghamton University Bearcats. I have the opportunity to share the stories of Binghamton University coaches, student athletes, alumni, and administration. And we have been able to tell so many wonderful stories of Binghamton University. And now we get to expand that into Chris Weathers, who is here with us, assistant coach of the women's volleyball team at Binghamton University. So first and foremost, Chris, how are you?
I'm great, Damon. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. And Chris, I want to go back to the beginning for you. Why volleyball? How did you originally find a passion for the sport?
Oh, well, actually, I started growing up playing a various amount of sports. Stuck with baseball, and then as I was maybe in middle school, my older sister started playing volleyball. She played at a junior college, so I got to go watch a lot of her games, and I kind of learned that the mechanics were super similar. So volleyball, learning just little tricks here and there, eventually led to me playing in high school. So then from high school, that's when I moved on to play for club in college and kind of was the volunteer manager for the women's team at Seton Hall while I was a student there. So while having a hand in kind of playing, but also getting a hand in firsthand and behind the scenes as a student manager, kind of got my start.
So you said with your sister getting involved in it and whatnot, what did you like about when you were watching her play? What stuck out to you about the art of the sport, so to speak?
I would definitely say the energy that's just thrown back and forth at each other. You kind of every play, it's never repetitive. You honestly every single time the serve goes up, you have no idea what's coming over, and that kind of just intrigued me. Just the constant, just who knows what's next.
So, like you said, getting involved as a student manager after that, I don't think it's something that gets talked about enough, the life of a student manager. How would you describe what that's like? Because I'm going to tell you from the outside looking in, I feel like it's you do a ton of work and you're not getting paid as a coach, you're not on staff as, an employee, so to speak. But as a student manager, sometimes it means you're doing a million different things, and I just don't think there's enough emphasis on the amount of work that is done. I kind of just think about someone crawling through the trenches in the mud while it's raining. And I feel like student managers should get more support and more attention because it is a lot of work. And, it's essentially interning, right? While you're doing all this work.
Correct. I believe there's kind of two routes that you can take. One, it's for a lot of people nowadays, it's a job. They get paid. But then I kind of got my start a couple years ago when it was more just volunteer aspect. So in my role, I just kind of knew I had to be a sponge in order just to kind of learn everything behind the scenes, whether it was skill instruction to recruiting to video management, everything behind the scenes. It was just to be a sponge, soak up as much as I could because I knew it was a great opportunity. And I knew from there it could propel me to my next adventure, more or less. So definitely, I would say definitely just being a sponge and just soaking everything up.
So for you being a sponge, what did you take away most from the initial opportunity you had being a student manager? What were some of those things that stick with you to this day that you took from that?
Being a student manager is something that's stuck with me to this day is the fact that these careers exist. I mean, I feel like this career for myself is super fun for a variety of reasons. And I also feel like even your profession gets entangled into it. Like the fact that this whole world of occupations exists, that you can have fun kind of just doing what pays the bills, but also something that you love. So it was definitely eye-opening. I'm someone who actually started off in nursing and had dreams and aspirations to be a nurse, but kind of just being an athlete my entire life and not really wanting to step away from the team environment. and kind of just getting that student management opportunity and seeing that the careers that kind of were out there for me, that kind of just led me in this direction.
So you go from nursing to coaching. You said you know that was something that you wanted to do. You wanted to be a nurse. How difficult was it to step away from that? And when you look back at that fork in the road in your life, do you ultimately feel like hindsight 2020 that you made the right decision?
I kind of always there's no regrets, right? Everything that we go through, it's for a reason. Whether you find that reason right away, or it comes down the line. I definitely don't have any regrets. This just being in collegiate athletics for nearly 10 years has given me tremendous opportunities. I've been able to see the world. I've been able to have fun just being in a profession that I love. I know definitely maybe the nursing salary may be something that would be a little bit more appreciated on the coaching side, but overall, no regrets. It's definitely a different route, but it's something I would not want to change.
So why Binghamton? Bring me into how you got here and why Binghamton University was the right fit for you.
So I met Coach Allie nearly 15 years ago as a student manager, and I was the student manager. She was assistant at Seton Hall. So that's when I kind of had the first opportunity to work with her. After leaving Seton Hall, hopping around to a few different schools with grad assistant positions, Allie invited me back to her staff at Seton Hall. And then once we kind of went separate ways after leaving Seton Hall, Allie came back to Binghamton. She then reached out with an opportunity that I did not want to pass up on. Seeing everything that she has created at Binghamton in just a short period, it's something that I want to be part of. I see what she's doing. I see what her mindset is. I see what she's already done, what the team has done, the support on campus. Every time I've had the chance to speak with her over these past couple of years, I feel the excitement just listening to her talk about the team, listening to her talk about the school, listening to her talk about all the opportunities on campus. Just I wanted to be a part of it, and I'm forever thankful that she reached back out to be a part of her staff.
Well, and you said it, you know, she's reached out more than once to you. Why do you feel like she has so much faith and trust in you? I mean, it says something to call somebody once. It says something to call them back again and want them to be a part of your next chapter. And it seems like when it's come to her needing to make a decision and a choice of somebody to work with, you have been a name that's been on her mind. So just thoughts on why you believe that is.
I believe Coach Allie will second me on this. I'm the last person. I don't like speaking about myself. I feel like no matter the profession, when you leave a job, you always have regret thinking that I should have done this. I could have done this better. I wish I could have done this to show a different side or a different just I wish I could have done more or less. And having Allie reach back out more than once for opportunities, um, I, I do think it's something that also inspires me because it helps reassure that I'm doing the right thing, or that I know there's times where I do question. I'm super tough on myself. I feel like no matter what, whether it comes down to choosing breakfast or if there's making a game time
Hmm.
decision, super critical, super tough on myself. And just having somebody in your corner who I've looked up to, who has inspired me, um, having them reach back out is just something that continuously promotes that. And if anything, ignites that fire again. It confirms that I'm doing the right thing. It confirms I'm in the right place. And I feel like kind of everyone would kind of appreciate that as if their boss reached out with more opportunities and to watch them and be a part of them to do bigger and better things.
Well, here with Chris Weathers, once again, the assistant coach for volleyball at Binghamton University in this Bearcat break room. on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. You said you're really hard on yourself. You're very critical, whether it's choosing breakfast or it's making a decision in a match. How have you navigated being so critical of yourself and utilized it as a tool and not as kind of friendly fire against yourself, right? And I'm asking you this question because I've lived in that world where your self-talk is so hard on you, but you can turn negative self-talk or that really toughness that you throw at yourself into constructive criticism where you are holding yourself accountable, but you're also loving yourself at the same time. So do you feel like you found that balance of saying, hey, I'm not going to let myself off the hook, but I'm also going to speak kindly to myself?
Definitely. I definitely know being critical has slowly eaten away at me. Just as I do look back, again, it's not a regretful thing, but it's just something I do notice where I should have been kinder to myself. I should have just been kind of happy with the way it went out. But in terms of this time around, I feel like I'm a little bit older. You continue to grow, you continue to learn, and this time around, that's actually one of my personal goals, is to not be so hard on myself. Is kind of just there's a lot of things that we do have control over, but a lot of things we just gotta ride it out. So that it's actually one of the bigger focuses of this coaching opportunity.
And this opportunity that you have with Allie Yaeger, you've mentioned her a bunch of times, the head volleyball coach at Binghamton University. I love talking with her. We always have a great time. Like we've spoken about, she didn't ask you to work with her once. She's asked you to work with her multiple times. I think that is a compliment to you, very, very much so. Being around her and just getting to talk with her, I think if she likes you and she wants to work with you, that's saying something about you. What can you say about Allie and what it's like to be with her and why you enjoy having her be the leader of the school or whatever opportunity, having her be the person that's leading the charge? Why do you like working with her?
Allie has been someone who has kind of guided me from the beginning. Um, Even just as an undergrad myself, I've learned so much from her. And not only just from the professional side, but I've also had the opportunity to just meet her and her family on a personal level. Seeing her wear multiple hats, not only as that leader in the gym, but she's also the leader of her household and making sure that her kids go to school and her family's okay, and making sure that husband is able to bring one kid to baseball while we're in the gym with practice. So she's someone who has inspired me on and off the court. And her presence in the gym is palpable. It's just being in the practice, being in the gym. There's energy, and when the team digs into that energy, crazy things can happen in the gym. It's always a great time, but it all starts with her. She's the reason that I'm here. She's the reason that I've continued in this career, and I look forward to every opportunity that we have here at Binghamton.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, when you talk about the energy and you talk about the court itself, I like to get rid of things that I don't think should be out there with certain sports and things that you have to hear. There's two things I want to talk about when it comes to volleyball. One, that you should only pay attention when it's the Olympics, because I think that that's ridiculous. And two, when someone goes, just get it over the net. Why is it that hard? So I'd love for you to share your thoughts on people watching volleyball all the time and not just during the Olympics. And then secondly, how it truly is not as simple as, well, just put it over the net already.
All right. We'll start with just overall, volleyball is a sport. It's the world's fastest growing sport. I feel like I grew up in the Northeast where volleyball it's not kind of started until middle school and sometimes until high school. So there's a lot of late developers, whereas compared to the rest of the country, there's hotbeds, the Midwest, Chicago, Texas, Florida, California. I feel like those are states where uh, athletes can be born with a volleyball. So they get years, they get a head start in advance. But no, it's definitely not just limited to the Olympic seasons. As we saw now, there's a professional league. So there's a lot more viewing, a lot more people having the opportunity to watch intense games. And I feel like just as a society, there's more investments being made into volleyball, into the world of volleyball. For a lot of other Olympic sports, you may have a variety of different leagues. Never mind just kind of one league running the television channel. There's a variety of different leagues, and those athletes get to follow all of the different athletes on all of the different leagues. Whereas volleyball is just at the beginning, so it's nice to see that kind of page is turning. More investments are being made, more camera time is being shown. But also technology is helping a lot. It's helping just kind of new clips, little short 10-second clips are going out there and going viral and creating new volleyball fans. So that's kind of exciting. And then just get it over the net. There's two sides to this. Just get it over the net. One side, sometimes that's all it takes, because often the other team is going to make the mistake for you. That's how you get a lot of your points. So that's what coaches mean by just get it over the net. But on the flip side, let's say you're a sixth rotation outside who's just been in the front row, maybe minute-long rallies. You jumped 50 times in each of those rallies, and then you got to go back and serve. So it's kind of just like doing a high-intensity workout, and then you have to go back there, wait for a whistle to be blown, and let somehow all of that nerves pressure off your body. So yes, just get it over the net, but there's a lot of players out there doing a lot of crazy things, and sometimes it's exhausting. Kudos to all of those athletes who are going out there and just stepping behind that line and giving their best serve, because that's where it starts. If you couldn't tell, not just by this camera angle, but I'm not too tall in the world of volleyball myself, so I had to find my strength in order to kind of make my own spot on the court. I knew I wasn't going to go up there, bounce balls over guys who are 7 foot. So I knew behind the serving line, that's kind of where it starts. You have a lot more control back there. So it is a lot more than just get it over the net. There's a variety of ways, or a variety of aspects to look at that phrase.
Yeah, and I appreciate you providing different angles to that. And when you look at volleyball itself and just the art of it, there's a lot of sports that have to do with something. I mean, I played basketball growing up in my life, and they said basketball is a game of runs. Volleyball, in the same respect, is a game of runs, right? I mean, you could be a team that's down and out, and then all of a sudden you got a bunch of great serves that come through. You got a bunch of great things that you do at the net itself. You take care of business. And I've been at matches and watched games where you just see somebody, you see a team just take over, and it's point after point after point after point. So just what you could say to, that world, that if a basketball fan is watching us right now, to tell them, like, hey, you like games that are games of runs? Well, guess what? Volleyball very much can turn on a dime when you have a team catch their stride.
Yeah, Dan. I mean, that's kind of touching back to just more views, more eyes on the game. It's those highlight clips, right? Like there's clips go viral nowadays, TikTok, Instagram, what it may be, of maybe like a basketball game within the last 30 seconds. A team comes back from behind, down 12, and they lose by 1. Volleyball it's in the same world, except maybe the cameras, we don't have all those angles to make a fancy clip. So just getting more cameras on the game, getting more eyes on the game, just you're able to create a new fan just based off of that energy. That energy that's thrown back and forth, it's captivating. And it's, like I said, it's just being able to capture it and getting it out to that audience, and you'll create new fans instantly.
And you talked about professional volleyball in America, the Pro Volleyball Federation teams. I'm on their site right now and I'm just looking at I'm a big, when it comes to logos, like if you grab me with your logo, I'm in. And so I'm looking at this stuff right now, and the Pro Volleyball Federation teams that we have: the Atlanta Vibe, the Columbus Fury, the Grand Rapids Rise, the Indy Ignite, this is probably my favorite, the Omaha Supernovas, the Orlando Valkyries, San Diego Mojo, and Vegas Thrill. Not only are these really cool logos, and not only are they in cities like Vegas and San Diego, which, I mean, I've had the opportunity to be out in San Diego. I've had the opportunity to be in Omaha. Orlando is like another home to me. So, and of course, Atlanta. Looking at the logos, looking at the places that they're in, what can you say to this Pro Volleyball Federation? And if you feel like it has legs, and if to you they're doing things in a way that you think, could catch on, and we can hopefully see this thing grow and blossom, maybe more cities get involved and more opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's the emergence of the professional league it's still new. So there's, and I feel like just as a society, all we do is compare immediately. So as the league emerged, it's only going to be compared to the leagues that already exist overseas. So the international teams in a variety of different countries. So those already exist, but obviously the camera's not there, the funding's not there. They're not being fed the same opportunities that these new teams kind of have in the United States. But that's all with the television, just with more cameras, just more views, right? So I would like to see it kind of open up a little bit more to the world, because right now it's limiting to those who would like to play overseas. There's two aspects to this as well. It's kind of like, do you want a higher paycheck, or do you want to play higher intense volleyball? Because there's a lot of athletes who are stuck playing where they may be, but they don't have the same opportunity. So kind of just opening up to the world. Volleyball is, like I said, one of the fastest growing sports internationally. So just kind of getting it under control here in the US, but also being able to just expand would be fun to see, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, I feel like the Supernovas, they're the ones that are catching me right now. But I definitely, I mean, have you chosen a team that you just like followed closely? I know obviously you're recruiting, you're running around, you're doing your thing, and you're coaching in the world of volleyball, but have you looked into the Federation more? Do you have a team that you kind of lean toward a little bit?
No, as of right, it's kind of interesting just because, again, I've been coaching for almost 10 years, so a lot of these women who are playing, I've been on the opposing bench or in the same gym as them.
Yeah.
So just seeing them, I don't have one, because I have favorite players just throughout the league on every other on multiple teams, but it's definitely interesting, and kind of waking myself up, telling me that I'm getting old, but seeing these athletes now who I saw play in club tournaments at a random convention center, now from a college gymnasium, and now on ESPN, playing for a professional league. It's definitely it's good to see it going in the right direction, to say the least.
Well, and it's awesome because the NWSL for pro women's soccer, what the WNBA has done to continue to evolve and grow, and now seeing this federation for pro volleyball, and going on right now, the softball league that's being backed by Major League Baseball. There is life for women's professional sports in America, which I think is an awesome thing. You and I are talking at a time of about a month into your job, a little over a month. You were hired in June 2025 here, and here we are in July. So, biggest takeaways for Binghamton University, just what your overall thoughts are as the Binghamton first impression I'll say, of your time there?
Well, I'm familiar with the Southern Tier. So I worked for 2 seasons over at Elmira. But my first impression of Binghamton is I feel I feel like it's a sleeping giant right now. Just
Okay.
because I went there at peak summer, where not everyone's kind of back, everyone's doing their own summer plans. So I feel the faint heartbeat, which is giving me anxiety because that's just telling me that it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
But I'm also super excited. I'm super excited to see the city alive. I'm super excited to see the campus alive. I've heard so much just talking about the support from various students, various teams, and I'm just ready for it. I've been more or less revving my engine, and I'm just ready for that green light.
Yeah, and it's going to be coming up very soon here for Binghamton Volleyball. Very excited about I can't even believe it's right around the corner here. But taking a look at what we have here, August 29th, or actually, pardon me, August 22nd at Colgate in Hamilton, New York. We'll start off the season on a Friday. Then we'll have the Bearcat Classic against Fordham, as well as UConn and Lehigh, all at home within this. The Black Knight Invitational, the Binghamton Invitational. So there's a bunch of things going on within the schedule. And what I love is early on in the schedule, we have 2 things that are being hosted by Binghamton University in the Bearcat Classic and the Binghamton Invitational. What does that mean to you? That there's the opportunity of hosting these, little mini tournaments in the regular season. So 1, having them, 2, having them early on, and the fact that there's not one, right? That there's multiple opportunities for Binghamton to showcase their grounds and for you to get in front of your fans, especially starting off 2025 so early on in the season.
Definitely. I mean, with such a large incoming class coming in, just new faces in the gym, 2 new staff members, the more time we can spend at home in front of our home fans, I feel like is only going to help us just with that constant support rather than being on the road week after week after week.
Yeah.
It's definitely nice and comforting to have these 2 home weekends for us, and just kind of hopefully connect with the community. I hope everyone comes out, they're able to show their face, whether it be for one, for both, even for one match. Like I said, we have a brand new team out there, and it's going to be fun and interesting to see where this goes.
And you just getting hired in June 2025 as a new member of the staff, but Allie, and then Jaden coming on here this month of July. What that experience is like for you to know that both of the new staff members here. I mean, obviously you have the relationship and plenty of time with Allie, but to be coming onto this Binghamton staff at a time where somebody else is as well and going through this essentially together, what does that mean to you to have this experience of being a new face, but getting to share that with somebody else?
I feel like not can't speak for Jaden and herself, but it's definitely a 2-way street.
Yeah.
Right. It's we'll both have that initial fear, that initial gut, those voices in our head that maybe stop us from doing what we want to do, saying what we want to say. But then also know that other 50% is that vulnerability, that willing to be weak, and question, because that's the only way everybody can get on the same page, especially with new faces, just new coaching mentalities. Maybe there's little things that someone might have picked up, that we always have an opportunity to learn something from somebody.
Yeah.
So being able to balance that 50-50 of just trusting your gut, going with your instincts, kind of everything that you've been taught, but also showing that vulnerability, I feel like is a strength in my opinion.
Yeah. Vulnerability to me definitely is a strength and means more than I think. I mean, it's funny how it's like, well, if you don't show people that you cry, you don't have emotion and this, that, whatever. I was like, those are not the strongest people I know. The strongest people I know are the people that care and show that they care. So we're going to play some rapid fire. First time I get to do it with you, Chris. We can ask each other any question, any topic. Doesn't have to be sports. Could be literally anything in the world. You can ask me the first question. What is your question?
What is your favorite state?
Mm. Well, I love my home state of New York, but the taxes are ridiculous, and we need to break away from New York City because they cost too much. So I would say, not that I don't like New York City, I just don't like what they do to upstate New York as far as money and all that. But I would say my favorite state, ooh, I'd probably have to pick Florida, which is my second home, or my third home, which is North Carolina. Florida, because I mean, it's just always been a second home, and I love amusement parks and got a lot of family down there. And then I would say North Carolina because these women got an accent that is game over for me every time. So I will say that. My question, yeah, being down covering ACC kickoff and American kickoff, you just hear the accent, and yeah, it's there's nothing like it. So my question back to you, hmm, what is your least favorite state?
That's not fair. This is not this is, you're setting me up to be roasted on the internet. I don't appreciate it. um
Where? How about this?
uh
Where is a state that you would not choose to live?
I really love traveling. That's kind of why I led with this question. I've been to 46 out of the 50 states,
Oh
and
wow.
of the four that I've not been to, two of those are the Dakotas. Now, no hate to the Dakotas, and I'm pairing them together as their brothers and sisters, but
Yeah.
I have yet to have a reason to go that far.
Okay.
And they would be kind of I'll put them side by side. That way, it's not just one.
Hey,
But
you didn't say
those
anything negative. It's very cold up there, but
sure, yeah. Alaska's cold too.
that's
Uh,
true. That's true. I'm trying to
yeah.
help you.
Yeah. Sorry, you
No,
asked
you're,
the question.
no, you're good. What's your next question for me?
What is your go-to deli meat? What is your top deli meat? Like when if you are a fan of deli, it can be you can throw cheeses into it, but
Okay.
your go-to deli order.
Man, it's got to be turkey, provolone, lettuce, a little bit of mayo, a little bit of mustard, oregano, parmesan.
Sounds good to
I
me.
would, I would go with that. My question back to you. Let's stay with food because I'm hungry. So, if you had to have a donut named after you, what's the Chris Weathers donut and why?
Oh man, the Chris Weathers donut. Um, I will tell you this right now. I'm on a big peanut butter and jelly kick, and I don't know if I'll ever grow out of it.
I'm with it.
Um, and I also I truly enjoy baking. And the science to create something that's like just crispy on the outside but like soft doughy on the inside, to perfect that, and if we can make that into a peanut butter and jelly, then that would be heaven for me. The name is still a work in progress, so I'll get back to you on the name, but definitely like a crispy peanut butter and jelly type of donut.
I've left this conversation more hungry. So, it's a good answer. Probably the best one I've gotten. So, what is your final question for me?
Final question for you. Um, out of um, oh shoot, uh, out of every place that you've been to so far in your life, um, what would you say was your proudest moment, or the biggest step that you took? What was the kind of that experience that took you the most out of your comfort zone?
Quite literally, and it wasn't necessarily coming out of my comfort zone. Well, I'll answer this two ways. So, quite literally, the biggest step climbing a mountain in Maddaloni, Italy, a couple months ago, town that my dad's family came from, right outside of Naples, climbed a mountain to the Stations of the Cross, following Jesus's path to the cross while climbing the mountain. Narrow is the path to heaven. Going up there, praying, talking with him, and realizing that something that I've been saying to myself for years was he was using something in my life that helps me to then show me down the road that like it was all a plan and that I exactly made it to that, and now holding me accountable to the things that we talked about on that mountain. I would say stepping out of my comfort zone. Really, I've never been afraid to talk publicly. I think the media, they're so critical, and they make fun of coaches, they make fun of players, they make fun of each other. And I think just being in a room with people that will legitimately make fun of you for working hard and then use your work after. So they'll make fun of the fact that you won't shut up, quote unquote, and then plagiarize the work because you wouldn't shut up. I think I've had to learn in life that I got into this profession because of my love for what I do. I never thought that there would be so much negativity that comes in the media world, but I can promise coaches and players this: you will always be safe with me. You will always be honored. You will always be respected. You will always be carried with truth. And God directs every step I take. So to every player, administrator, coach, and everyone that I meet in any nook and cranny of the world, if there's no one in the media that you trust, I promise you that will stop it. That will stop before you meet me. And at my door, you will always be welcome to eat, sit, and have a good time. I will say that. My question back to you: single greatest piece of advice, what is it, and who did it come from?
Single greatest piece of advice. He's gonna kill me for this, but it was my father. It was if you couldn't tell by the sarcasm already, it runs fluent in my family, and there was a point where I was not sure, just kind of the direction that I was heading, and just overall stresses. As an adult, it's just daily things. And my father, who doesn't really have much of the life advice, this is 10 years ago, he told me, Chris, if you woke up and died the next day, they'd replace you tomorrow. So don't overstress it. It's that dark humor.
Yeah.
But it's reality. It's that little cheek or little push that you need, a little wake up call. It's to not stress, to not overstress, to not, like, going back to what we were talking about before, being hypercritical, just being able to being okay. So I will say shout out to my dad for the little dark piece of humor, because it's kept me going.
No, the thing is he's 100% right, and I would say that what I learned actually today, I said to myself, I was like, man, why are these people rude? Why do they do this and say this? And then my brain, similar to what your dad said, my brain was like, if you died today, none of these people would come to your funeral. They would just say, good, more for me. And so if you can walk into a room and tell yourself not a single one of these people would show up to my funeral, then why, if they wouldn't care about your death, then why do you care about them while you're alive? Like, why do you let that stuff bother you?
Yeah, it's that little push that we need, that little, sometimes the voices can be too loud in our head that's limiting us to reach what we want, where we want, how we're going to get there. So it's that little slight of edge of dark humor that kind of brings me back to reality at times where it's needed. It's kind of, we're at that point now where the world's getting too crazy, so we have to be able to step back, throw a joke in there time to time.
Well, if I've learned anything about life, people that are mean to you when you're nice to them, or you don't even know them, I would tell you that you are never the only person that they're mean to. You are never the only person that they've disrespected, and you're not going to be the first. You're not going to be the last. And I think that that's something to realize too. Is you're sitting there worried about how they treated you, and they're already being rude to somebody else. I mean, they've forgotten about you, and they're cutting somebody else off in traffic, screaming something else to somebody, or typing something, or saying something and passing to someone. And it takes a small person to attack another person. It takes a very big heart, and it takes a lot of restraint. And I think the strongest people in the world to walk away from someone and not say to them what you want to say to them when they attack you. I think the strongest people are the people that have restraint. I think the weakest people are the people that run their mouths to total strangers a lot of the time. So yes. With that being said, shout out to Dad, because dark humor brought about a good conversation. Chris Weathers here, Bearcat Breakroom. Volleyball starting up very soon in August, on August 22nd. You better get yourself out to Binghamton as well as on the road. Support these Bearcats and support the volleyball team. As always, I appreciate everything we get to do with Binghamton. And Chris, this is the first time, but I look forward to talking with you very soon. I definitely appreciate your time, and can't thank you enough for sharing your story here today, and I look forward to the next one.
Thank you, Dad. Appreciate the invite. Can't wait to be back.